guys, so today's video is going to be a story time video, and it's been a little bit since I've done a story time, but you guys seem to like my story time videos. I'm gonna have the playlist listed somewhere either in the description box or on the screen if you guys want to view any of my other story times. I've met G-Eazy, I've been in a cult, I've gone to New York for BeautyCon, so any of those story times that you guys may have interest in, they will be listed in the description box or somewhere on the screen. So this is gonna be another story time / sip and tell. If I'm being honest with you guys, it's just juice in here. If we're being honest. But if you guys do have wine and you are of age, means you are legally 21 or whatever your legal age is in your residence, pour up a drink for me. Anyways, guys, without further ado, let's just get into the story time. Okay, first let me just get a little sip though. So, this story time is actually like very serious. I know I'm smiling right now, and I actually never thought that something like this would happen to me, but it did, and I'm talking about it with you guys today. So I think there's only 5 people that actually know about the story. One being myself, another person being the other person that was involved in it, the person that did it, one of my friends, and then my mom. And so the reason why I kind of was holding off of this story is because I was still seeing the person that did this. Not seeing them as in like dating, but like I would still see them like around, and I don't know how many people know about my YouTube channel, so I wasn't trying to kind of expose them, but like right now I don't really care. And in me doing this video, if they were to stand up and admit to it, they would be exposing themselves for actually doing it. So I mean, to each their own. Okay, so let me give you guys a little bit of a background story about where I'm coming from. I was always the type of person that never drank before I was legally of age, which I was at the age of 21, unless it was given to me by like a family member, like at a party or something. I remember when I went to Jamaica for my sweet 16, my grandmother gave me like alcohol, like in a pina colada. But besides that, I really was never exposed to alcohol. I never really had the desire to drink before legally age, because I would always see like movies, or just like I'd have the fear of like if I did that, God would punish me by letting something happen to me like that I didn't want to happen. So like I just did it because I was scared that when I did it, something bad would happen, like whether it be drunk driving or something. So for me, I always stayed away from alcohol until I was 21. When I did turn 21, I'd always eat before I drink, so I was never the type, or I never had the desire to drink to get drunk. I don't know if that makes sense. Some people like I know like drink like purposely, like don't eat so that they can feel the full presence of the alcohol or whatever. I'm always the type of person that likes to eat before I go out. I always too am the person that will volunteer to be the designated driver. Like I don't mind doing it. Like I am good. But sometimes I don't really see the point in spending money like to drink. Like the drinks are usually expensive unless like someone buys me a drink or something like that. But for the most part, I'm a responsible drinker. So when this event happened, I was just like, the fact that it happened to me when it did was kind of like I had gone all these years without anything really bad happening to me in terms of like drinking, and then all of a sudden it's like the day before graduation and this happens. Remember it being the day before my college graduation, and because I went to a big school, we had 2 graduations. So we had one graduation for the entire university, which was like all the students in my graduating class, and then the day after we had our individual graduation. So if you went to like the business school, or if you were a science major, or whatever your major was, you had separate like graduations for that day. The big university one, it was like a big deal because everybody was there, and I think it happened like midday, so it wasn't like an early time that we had to be there. I think it might have happened like maybe between noon and like 2 p.m. or something like that. So like I went to that, and then after that I remember eating with my family, and then me and my friends were like talking about where we were gonna go that night, because it was like a big deal. Like we were gonna go to like the bars, whatever, just to celebrate like we had graduated the first night. So I remember I met up with one of my friends that I went to college with, and I had actually drove there by myself, and she didn't have her car. I don't think she planned to drive that night, and so I said that like we could just take my car if we decided to go to like after party or something like that. Again, see, I'm volunteering to be the designated driver. I remember going there, and I actually don't remember drinking that night. If I did drink, I remember I ate dinner before because I was with my parents, and then at the bar we went to, they served things like popcorn or like pretzels or whatever. So like I was good, like I really was good. And so I think I remember having one drink. I remember having the Shirley Temple, the green tea, that was it, and everything else. We went to one more bar, and this was also another dance bar, and that's where we met up with this kid. This kid that did this, I will refer to him as Patty. a random name. He was actually a mutual friend to someone that I knew, and I have to be very brief and concise with my details because if anyone does watch this video, they're gonna be able to know exactly who this person was. So I had personally never really associated with this kid before. I think we followed each other on Instagram and Snapchat, but besides that, I've never really had a full conversation with him. That night though at the club, he did say to me, like, he's like, oh, you're Hannah from like Instagram or whatever. He said like my name. I also knew one of his friends that I was kind of like more familiar with, but not really. He had his friend, I'll call him Carl. So Patty and Carl. So Carl I had more interactions with, just because I think Carl might have, I don't know why I think Carl knew more of my mutual friends, so me and Carl had more mutual friends than me and Patty had mutual friends. I remember them coming up to me, and I'll call my friend Chanel, or whatever, I'll just call her Chanel. So me and Chanel were sitting at the bar, and we were with one of our other friends, but I don't know how it got to this point, but I remember my other friend, I'll call her Jessica, she ended up like not hanging out with us. I forget what event I think she might have went to like a sorority event, and like I don't really care for the sorority events. They're always in the frat houses. That's where I really just draw the line. I remember us like kind of splitting up, and there was just me and Chanel, and then Patty invited me and Chanel to his house. He was saying that everybody was coming. He was going to be having a party there. There's going to be drinks or whatever. Like, we could all just come. So we were like, okay, cool. We found our after party after the bars closed. The bars in our area closed, I think, at 1 a.m., which is really early for most places. So after the bar had ended, me and Chanel went back to my car, and then we drove to Patty's house. I think he gave Chanel the address because I still had not had his contact information. He might have given, he may have given to Chanel, or he may have DM'd me on Instagram, but we did not have each other's phone number. And because he was kind of relatively popular at our school, we didn't think anything of it. We thought everybody was gonna be there. We actually ended up being the first people there, and his house, I'm not even gonna front, guys, was kind of weird. It was kind of like on a farm. So when we got to the house, we parked the car, and then I remember like parking it one place, but then deciding to turn it around in case we had to leave like in a quick. So I remember turning the car around and then parking there, and then we kind of just like sat in the car, and he actually wasn't even there when we got there. So me and my friend just sat in the car. I think we might have sat in there for like maybe like 10 minutes, and then we had like DM'd him or messaged him, and we're like, we're here, like, where are you? And like, where is everybody else? He's like, oh, I'm coming. So then he finally gets there. When I tell you guys, it was probably the dirtiest house I've ever seen in my life. It probably was the dirtiest house. I feel like it was probably worse than a frat house, but almost like the same comparison. So when we get in, we asked to use the bathroom, and so when we got in the bathroom, we were like, okay, we need a safe word in case this doesn't work out, because literally it was just him, one of his friends, and then some other kid that I've never seen in my life. I think he might have not even gone to college. Carl wasn't even there. The bathroom was nasty. Like, it was gross. I remember it was so gross to like, I just like air dried my hands. Like, I didn't even use the towel. Like, that's how bad it was. We come out of the bathroom, and he was like, what was taking you guys so long? Like, what were you guys doing? Like, you guys were talking about us? Like, whatever. So then he's like, how about we do a shot? So we're like, okay, cool. So the presentation didn't even look good. So it was just like glasses on the table, and they didn't look clean. And then it was just like limes and lemons, and then there's like a random, I don't even remember what the alcohol beverage was, but it's like alcohol beverage, and then he had a chaser, and then there might have been like a juice or something. And so we didn't think anything of it because we all did the same thing together. Okay, so Patty pours the shots, and then we all like toast or whatever, and then we all drink it. And then I think maybe like 10 minutes went by, and like me and my friend were kind of realizing that nobody else was here. And I think somebody may have messaged her talking about another party, and this actually happened to be like a party that we've gone to before. Like, we knew the address. We made a plan to just like, okay, let's just say we're going to the car and we'll be right back. So we were like, okay, we're gonna go to the car and we'll be right back. And so Patty already knew what we were trying to do. He already knew we were trying to escape her, knew we were trying to get out, and he's like, you guys aren't coming back, you're not gonna come back. We're like, no, we're really gonna come back. We left the house and got in the car and then drove off. So we got to that house party, and then I think we might have been there for like 20 minutes, and then Patty ended up at that party too, and he was like, I thought you guys said you guys were gonna come back inside. And we were like, like whatever. We kind of just laughed it off. I think we might have been at that house for maybe 5 more minutes, and then someone at that house, they happened to be in like a fraternity, they did not know that we were having a party. He literally walked over to the sound system and shut it off, and he's like, everybody get the F out. We were all just like, like, okay. Somebody else threw out like another random address, and so then we're like, okay, cool, we'll go to that house. I think in a matter of like 3 minutes, the side effects from whatever we were given was like hitting us. You know, the vampires kind of like move fast, but like everything else is still moving slow. Like I literally felt like Edward Cullen. Like I felt like I was a vampire. So when we were driving in my car, guys, I literally felt like myself just like drifting slowly at the wheel. Like I don't know how to describe it. It was like a kind of an out of body experience, but I was literally just like drifting, and then like I would like doze. I kind of like not doze off, kind of just felt like myself just like drifting like slowly. Like I just kept feeling like I was just like going like this, and I would just like wake up and just be like, whoa, like what happened? And I remember turning to Chanel, and I remember her sitting there like in the passenger seat. She literally was just sitting there like this. Like she kind of like was smirking, but at the same time she's just like this. I don't know what she had to drink. I told you guys I only had one drink that night, so I knew that I was drugged because I've never felt this feeling ever in my life, and it was like out of body. Like it felt so weird. I think I remember pulling over to that house that we were about to go into, and I remember Chanel was like, oh, I wanted to like talk to this kid that I saw earlier that night. And I remember just like telling her like, bro, I don't even feel good. Like I don't even feel like I should go in. And I'm glad I didn't, because when I looked in the mirror later on when I got back to my dorm room, I did not look well. Like my eyes were like glossy, but at the same time red, and my makeup was kind of like not smudged, but it was kind of just like, it wasn't, I didn't look well. I looked like I was drugged. I literally looked like something was wrong with me. Like she was like, I wanted to talk to this kid, and then I was just like, do you want to go inside? Like we can go inside if you want to, but like I don't feel well at all. And then I was like, we should probably just get home. Mind you guys, our graduation the next day was at 9 a.m. So by this time, I think it was like deciding to go home. So she didn't live on campus, so I drove to drop her off, and I was like, just text me when you get like inside like your apartment, like let me know you're good. And then she did, and then I drove back to my place, and my place I had to park in the student parking and then walk all the way up to my building. So she was like, make sure you text me when you get back to your place. You guys, that was the longest walk I've ever walked in my entire life. So one, it was late, it was like morning time, so like on a college campus, like anything can happen. So like, I was already paranoid, and then two, I just didn't feel right. It was by the grace of God that I got to my dorm room. When I finally got to my dorm room, I looked in the mirror, you guys. I looked crazy. I looked like I was like dehydrated. Like I looked like I was sweating, but I didn't feel like I was sweating. And like my eyes, I told you, they were like glossy red. It was really bad. So guys, I remember like by the time I ended up getting home, it was like 5. By the time I showered and everything, it was about 6. So I had 3 hours to get myself together, look presentable, and like just get ready. I had like 3 hours to just like sleep and then also get up for graduation and just like get my makeup on, do it all over again. Mind you, like I didn't even tell anybody this happened, but me and Ken were the only ones that knew. So it was again by the grace of God that I got up, because I set so many alarms. Like I just literally did not feel well. I don't know how I did it, but I ended up getting to graduation on time. Now Chanel, on the other hand, she was late to graduation. Like she didn't make it there on time at all. She was to the point where she almost missed walking. That was like how bad it was. I don't even remember her name being called. Like I think I was still like trying to like cope with like what had happened that night. So basically guys, we were drugged that night. We like both agreed that was what happened. And this is confirmation. This is how I knew we were drugged. A few months after this happened, I ended up seeing Patty and Carl again with some of our mutual friends this time. I remember he like came up to me, and I had told one of my other friends like what had happened. So like that whole night we were out for college. Like it was like a bar night or whatever. We were out, and she kept trying to like get me away from him because he literally just kept coming up to me. And I think it's because he was drunk, kind of like he was kind of tipsy. Every single time she would literally like intervene in the conversation, or she would like pull me away. I remember one time she literally like pulled me away from him. So this is confirmation. This is how I know I was drugged. The time that I seen him that night after the incident had happened at graduation, he came up to me. He's like, can I have your number? And like he was kind of like spitting in my face, you guys. That's how I knew he was drunk. So he's like kind of just like spitting, like he was just that close. He put his number in my phone or whatever. To this day, he's never even like it was pointless because he never like contacted me or anything. And he put his number in my phone, and then out of nowhere he pulls a random water bottle from out of his shirt, and he's like, you should have a sip of this. And I was like, no, I am good. Even my friend was like, no, she's good, she's all set. And then he kind of just like walked away. But like I don't know what was in that drink. I don't know what what he was trying to offer me, you guys, but just based on like that sneaky little, I know for a fact I was drugged, it was confirmation. That's pretty much the story, and I never actually told our mutual friend what happened, but I kind of just wanted to share this story with you guys because I know that college is about to start for some of you, and I'm gonna share more college inspired type stories, maybe just to like help you guys with like drinking, whatever, but always have somebody with you, always have a contact or emergency plan in place in case something bad happens. Never drink a drink that you sat down. Always get a new drink, always get a refill, even if it's going to cost you money. Always watch when the drink is coming to you to make sure nobody slips anything in it. But once you put a drink down, that drink's no longer yours, guys. Like, it's off limits. Like, don't pick up drinks. Don't really take drinks from people you don't trust. Like, this happened from somebody I kind of considered a friend. So, like, the fact that it was somebody that I considered a friend was just, like, so disrespectful. Like, disrespectful. Anyways, guys, this completes my story. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want more story times like this one, make sure you guys give this video a like. If you are not subscribed, at this point, I'm taking it personal. Like, you're lurking. Like, what's going on? Like, subscribe to my channel. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
Can never be mad at you. Remember being broke, I was eyeing you. Now I have you. But keep it 100, did you have faith when I